Every tree you kill, some squirrel goes out of home.
Have extra down here.
Yeah, that's about it. That's
Boy, it's birthday. I was bragging for when I go back. I worked there good. I just went there to get paid, so. See all the praying. I don't have a. Oh, I see
Mike's been dying to do this. Mike, you want to hold us up in prayer?
Yes. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. First of all, Lord, thank you for everybody that's here tonight. Lord, I ask you, Lord, just to bring Brother Aaron's message to us to our heart, Lord, we can take it further in our lives, Lord. I thank you, Lord, most of all for bringing me here to this wreck, Lord, and having pain around me. Thank you for my speedy recovery. I ask you, Lord, to use it as a testimony in my life, see how, Lord, even in front of me, I can make a difference. And be a brother with the kingdom. In Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
All right, we're going to go over our announcements, and we'll go over our prayer list. If you got your prayer list from your Sunday classes, but visitation morning, we're kind of going to phase that out and go to me and Mike's going to kind of go out on Saturdays for a while. Okay, so we're going to try that and see how that goes. It went very well last Saturday, so if any of you want to get together, unless we have some names turned in, that's how we're going to do that from here on out. For a little while, we got a meeting for our children's camp fundraiser at as soon as we get done, so we'll kind of go through this tonight. And so all the adults that want to help, they can. We're going to meet right back here, and then I believe I've got to sneak out to the youth building as soon as we get done with that. So, and then I also wanted to announce too that on our Sunday night, or not our Sunday night, we're just going to be going over our prayer list and our announcements and straight in the sermon. But we're going to try to throw a couple songs in here. Okay, Sunday night to kind of get into that attitude back of Sunday morning and Sunday night service that we had. You know, I believe we need to get back to that. Maybe our crowds will get back on Sunday night if we have a little bit more time there to worship. Now May's over with. May I have any other announcements? Just all the other new announcements that I know of. We'll make a calendar. It'll be out there Sunday. There's also some VBS material out there on the in the foyer on the table that you can take. Put it if y'all. There's little cards that you can put. A card stock tells the time and all that. If you know some families you want to pass them out to, put them up in some businesses. There's some bigger ones out there. Whatever you want to. There's plenty out there for the taking. Okay. So we'll go to our prayer list. We did in our class. We took the Sherman Thomas family off. And then we took Brother Steve off. We was going to leave him on there, but you have an update on anybody have an update?
Last time I took him, sounded better, a lot better.
We just took him off.
We're adding 88 to.
Okay.
You take me on.
I have not heard. course, everybody knew about the young man that lost his life, I guess it was Monday morning. Family that lived around here. Was he from here?
His mom and dad, I mean, his grandmom and granddad were.
So we need to add the Rattler family?
Back to you.
Rattler family.
Portion out of schools. And,
We can take Katie Jo off, she's here tonight, and she's doing better.
Yeah, she looks.
She looks
a lot better.
different night and day. Thanks for all the prayers on her. She wouldn't have made a recovery as quick without it, I can promise you.
Also, an update on Emma. She went to the doctor this morning, to the back doctor, and got some of those shots, and she called earlier, and she said she was in no pain at all. So, praise the Lord for that. So I won't leave it on here though. Anybody else? Reminder, you didn't have any updates from your class Sunday or anything?
We're gonna text them in tonight. They got mixed up in
No worries, no.
our old Sunday school book.
Huh?
It was in our old Sunday school book, I think. There's a little confusion there, we can set it up at home.
do you know a person, the number person?
I think we'll get it in school, right after school.
All right.
Brother Aaron, Mom goes to the oncologist tomorrow, and, she'll start treatments probably after that, since we found out in December, so it's been a long process, but we're at the end of it, so just continue to pray for her. But it's been good news, because she went to the surgeon, and, in her, all the results, it shows that, there's no cancer anywhere else, just that one little place, so thank God for that. They thought it was pneumonia in her lymph nodes, or they thought it was cancer and found out it was pneumonia. So that's been a process, but God answered prayers because it could have been worse, but He's in control.
Amen. That's right. Okay.
Judy Richardson, she's on there.
Let's also just, we don't have to write it on here or anything, but let's remember Paul and Dorothy took off this morning. And U-Haul, so they're officially gone. So talked to Joanne, this morning, and, there's a little church over there where they're at, and she said she went there Sunday morning, and there was like 6 cars there, so she's gonna drive to church at Broken Bow. And I told her, I said, well, if you're gonna drive that far, you might as well drive back to Calvary. So anyway, just,
Well, I think that'll take me off the prayer list. What?
nothing, I'm not gonna say anything. You're not on there because you're late. No, I'm just
Oh. We'll talk about it Saturday.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's go, Lord, in prayer. If you got your Bibles tonight, you'll notice that I've got lesson 1 and 2 here because basically we're going to go over the, we've been asked to go through the false doctrine again and religions that we're facing in our world, and it's basically the background of Jehovah's Witnesses. I won't go over that whole thing. Basically, because I know there's going to be a lot of questions about what they believe, what they don't believe, and so that's, you're going to be seeing that on lesson 2 on page 2 over there, okay? So kind of combine them both tonight, because there is a belief they believe about the Bible, the Holy Spirit, and all that. It's a different lessons, but I didn't want to get you down involved in a bunch of boring stuff that there would be a bunch of questions that would probably on page 2. All right. Father in heaven, we just come to you tonight. We just thank you for everything you've given us. We thank you for this day. Thank you for everyone that's here tonight. Father, I pray that they receive a blessing. They are a blessing to us here. Thank you for our church, what it means to us. Father, thank you for the good fellowship. We just lift your word up to you now tonight as we go through it. Father, that we're not here to knock others. We're just here to learn more about the truth of the Word of God. Father, we pray over all these that have been listed on our prayer list. We just continue to lift them up to you. Thank you for those that you've healed, you've touched, that our eyes may look up and you get the glory for all of it. And Lord, we just continue to pray for these on the cancer list, those that are in the military. We continue to pray for the things our churches are going through right now. And Lord, pray for Paul and Dorothy as they travel, Lord, and we just lift them up to you that you embrace. Pray for them and Joanne also and Rogers. They try to find churches that fit where they need to be. Lord, we just pray that you lead and guide them with your all-seeing eye. And thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. In your name I pray. Amen. So we're going to go over the background in just a minute of y'all can have any questions. If you have any questions you want to throw at me, you can. We'll get on page 2, you probably will. But basically, Matthew 25:41. Basically says, talks about, basically, when you think of Jehovah's Witnesses, I think of hell, okay? You have to excuse, I don't know how many times I'll use hell in that, because here's the thing I went into with Jehovah's Witnesses. A couple of them come to the door. We lived in Sherman one day. You know, they're very regular about getting out, passing out their literature, witnessing. They're avid about that, and you know, I compliment them on that. You know, they're very faithful to that. But the very first thing, you know, I mean, when they came to the door and they started knocking, you know, I mean, they start talking about stuff and limitations and things like that. But here's one thing you can ask them that'll throw them. What do you believe about heaven? Because they don't believe in heaven. Okay? So that's where it started, where the Bible talks about in Matthew 25:41. It says, "Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, you cursed, into everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels." If you go over to Luke chapter number 16, you'll also find chapter 16, verse 19 through 31. It talks about the rich man and Lazarus. Everybody knows this story. We're really not going to get into it much, but it really is. Somebody says, well, that's a parable. Really, it's not a parable. What Jesus was using here was this was a true, actual happening. And so, this is what happened. So when somebody dies lost. And so, of course, this was before Jesus died on the cross and all that. So you have to take it, when it talks about Abraham's bosom, he's talking about paradise. Okay? When he died on the cross, it talks about this, when he died on the cross, that when he went to the grave for 3 days, that he took captivity. In other words, they came from paradise and went back to heaven at that time. Okay? All those were saved. So anyway, we're not going to get into all that. Just a little, they believe that. You'll see some stuff there highlighted in yellow. Because God is love, how could he possibly send anyone to a literal hell? Okay? And as I've said many times before, it's not God that sends us to hell. Okay? It's our choice. He gave us all a choice of free will. Okay?
Brother Aaron, just come on, our subject lesson. Did you say that the Muslims believe that there was a Jesus Christ, but he wasn't the Son of God? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, they believe that he went to the cross and everything. They just don't believe he's the Messiah.
They do believe he was here.
Yep. He's a prophet. They just don't believe that he's the way.
They said that he couldn't save himself.
we'll get into that as we, if y'all wanna do the Muslims next, I mean, that's what we're facing our whole day.
No, I did, that come up Sunday, and I want to go through that one later in the morning.
Yeah. So anyway. We see that, let's go on over that. I mean, it just tells there, if you want to keep these things or throw them away, what are you going to do with them? It basically talks here about the early history, how the Jehovah's Witness came about, okay? You go over there at page 2, it talks about the modern day witnesses, about what, in 2006, they called it adherents, 16 million people who attend their services. And there's a website on there if you want to learn a little bit more about that, okay? And of course, everybody's heard of watchtower.org also. And so, if you ever seen, pass by a building or a church that said Kingdom Hall, that they're Jehovah's Witness, okay? They're Jehovah's Witness, and so that's what they are. And so there's approximately 11,000 Kingdom Halls exist in America today, probably more than that. As I've already said, they're known for their aggressive door-to-door literature distribution, evangelism pursuits, along with their methods of spreading their teachings, okay? And so, they have a lot of beliefs that you see. I know you've heard of some of these. If you look at number 4 there on page 2. Jehovah's Witnesses are also known for their strong political and social views, refusal to fight in wars or objectors of war, refusal to salute the flag, refusal to accept blood transfusions. And we had a lady in the church when I first came here, Miss Kathy knows who I'm talking about, a young lady, her mother was the younger lady was sick, and she was in St. Michael's, and her mother got very upset with her because the only way she could, there was any hope was to take a blood transfusion. Am I right on that? But she was Jehovah's Witness, but her mother was totally against it. But anyway, she did. Yeah, she converted. She was saved and converted before they moved away. But she took the transfusion against her mother's will, I guess, her belief. But anyway, I mean, they believe in that. Holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that good stuff. You know, they're good Christmas trees. If you ever read about it, you don't
Why
understand.
they refuse to sleep, right?
Huh?
Why they refuse to sleep?
I think it's just it's a religion. And they think that saluting any flag is, putting that in front of Jehovah God.
They don't believe in their kids going into a church like ours. That couple that we see and talk to, that's why she was so hesitant about doing anything. Her family would disown her completely.
And y'all remember the lady that was here, the young boy, the man got saved.
I mean, say two religions don't, we got 2 different religions, he was Baptist, she was Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah. So you'll see when they go out, around passing out things, and this is just don't take this as we're bashing them or anything, but when they come to your door and knock, this gives you a tool to maybe witness to them a little bit, tell them the truth, about, of course, and you might want to write down John 14:6 up there. It's the greatest verse in all the Bible to say, Jesus is the way, the only way, and so they have. You don't see it a lot out here in the country as much as if you lived in the city. You see a lot of this, the Watchtower, Tract Society. You got 2 magazines that come out that you can now subscribe for, the Watchtower Awake. And they also have the Bible called the New World Translation, okay? of Holy Scriptures. And they say this is the only, translation to be the only true scriptural translation written by them. But I wrote this little note down there, okay? It was a translation committee. I didn't have any recognized degree in Greek or Hebrew. And that's exactly where our Bible comes from, Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic, okay? But it's interesting, the man that found this out, really dug into what they were writing, his name was Walter Martin, author of The Kingdom of Cults. Somebody asked a question about that, about cults and stuff, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Would you classify a false religion as a cult or just a false religion? But I think, once you look at this, you see a kind of a cult type deal, because it's own belief. There's nothing. Yes, it has its center. I don't know. They use the name of Christ, but they write their own Bible, write their own things, which we know the Bible's inspired by God. We know that. So, if you go over here to page 2, and here's where we get into some real interesting thoughts. Okay, with this. Revelation chapter 20. Now here's where it gets really messed up, all right? It gets really messed up here, all right? Because Revelation 20 and verse number 11 through 15, the Bible says, "And I saw heaven open," and this is, those that are saved, that are coming back with God, with Jesus, okay, to reign with Him. He said, "And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and righteous he doth judge and make war, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. On his head were many crowns, and in a name written on them that no man knew, but he himself, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God." That's the only person that can be is Jesus Christ. Amen. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses clothed in fine linen, and white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth forth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he goes on and talks about the winepress and all that. Verse 16, he says, and I'm in chapter 19, I'm sorry, I'm reading this out of context here. "And he hath his vesture and his kingdom." Okay, if you go over to chapter 20, where I'm supposed to be reading, I just need that to throw y'all off, so if y'all pay attention.
Are we the King James Version?
Yeah. No, it's the New World Translation. We need to read that anyway, all right? All right.
What verse are we really on?
We're on verse 11, but we're in the wrong. We're in chapter 20. I was in chapter 19, which kind of starts out the same way. "And I saw a great white throne," all right, "and him that sat on him," all right, "whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open," and the book was open. It goes on and talks about the dead were judged out of those books according. "And the sea gave up the dead which were in them, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to the works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire." Okay, so what do they believe about? Basically this same 1, 2, and 3 is basically the same thing we went over. What do they believe about hell and salvation? Okay, and then we'll get into concerning hell, what they do believe, Jehovah's Witnesses are, their statement is that there is no literal place of eternal torment or hell. So why did we read what we just did? What does it say? What's the last verse we read? Yeah.
Well, in verse 13 at the end, it says, and they were judged each one according to his works.
This is, okay, there's two judgment seats, okay? There's the judgment seat when we're raptured out here, we die as a Christian saved, we're gonna stand before the bema judgment, which is the judgment seat of Christ. And then there's the great white throne judgment, okay? Where every person that's ever lived and walked from Adam to the time Jesus comes back, or the time the end of the millennial reign, will be judged.
Saints and sinners. Saved
No,
and-
this basically, yeah, this basically is for, this is the sinners.
So the first seat, the ones in the first seat are still gonna go to the second seat,
No.
first seat judgment, if you go to hell, you're not gonna be judged in the second seat.
Right.
Well, that's what it, all our feet from hell were raised up and go.
Well, they do have to go for the judgment, because there's gonna be, I mean, here's the thing, I mean, every man's gonna be saved or lost, every man's gonna be judged for his works or his deeds. And you're gonna have on earth. Every man. You may say, well, why is that? Well, you take somebody out here that's all his life, he's murdered, killed babies, robbed, stolen, whatever, and here's one man that dies lost, and he's done nothing. I mean, he's righteous in there, dies, but he dies lost. So,
There's degrees of hell in it.
well, that's how we kind of believe it, I don't think the punishment's gonna be the same, Just like I believe,
I
Go
thought
ahead.
one sin was just as bad as another sin.
well, it is. And I can't, they're gonna be judged, they're gonna be judged, and the sea gave up the dead. And then they were judged, every man according to their works. What are they gonna be judged for? You know what I'm saying?
Has something to do with your seat in heaven too, according to your works, if you're saved,
Your seat in heaven.
according to your crown,
Yep, I mean, just like, I mean, just like we're gonna lay down our crowns before Jesus' feet. Some people are gonna go with wood, hay, and stubble because their works are burned. They're not gonna have any crowns. Okay.
When you consider significance of I saw it did this morning, great step books, that's plural. The books were another book which is the book of life.
Okay.
There's one book judged for dead, the one in Christ, the other judged for dead in Christ.
If you read that book of life, that's not the Lamb's, I don't believe that's the Lamb's book of life. That's the book of life. Okay, God keeps records of everything, the deeds, works we do, okay? That's what I believe that book is, if you really want to get deep down. And really, I guess I need to go get my study on Revelation, bring it out, before we go into this any further. And it's hard to remember all this stuff, but that's the way,
So works can't get you into heaven,
no.
but it can change your crowns, your status.
You're eternal, you're the eternal living reign.
Yeah, you may not be far up in the stadium as some of the others.
Well, then I understood that when we come back out from the millennial reign, those who have been the most righteous will have authority over those I was thinking about poor brother Kim, I was the worst place in heaven is better than the best place in hell.
Truth, brother.
Yeah, sure. I mean, nobody wants to die and go to hell. I mean, period. I mean, and so to say that there's, to say that there's difference, well, I mean, I don't know. The Bible talks about the God that's the same God that's in heaven, the same God that's in earth, the same God, he's in hell too. Okay, I mean, he in other words, he's controlling those things there too. Okay, so I mean, if you really want to get deep in this thing, some people believe there's different compartments in there. Okay, in hell, and the same way with, and some believe it, hell's hell, when sin, like that. But why is Satan cast into the bottomless pit? If there's no compartments, why is he in the bottom? And his angels. See what I'm saying? So that's just, that's an argument that I don't want to get into. I mean, y'all get into it all. I'm just going to say, but here's the thing about it, it's the second death. Okay? You see, for the saved, there is no second death. There's only eternal life. But in other words, they're raised again. If you'll read the Bible here where it says they were dead, both dead and small, stand before God. They were pulled out of the seas and from all the way, everywhere. Okay, and they stood before God, and then they were cast into, written in the books. Okay, and there's the book of life. There's the Lamb's book of life, and then there's other books that were open. God keeps records. Brother Kenneth, I'll get the study on that for you, because there is plural books that God keeps. And so as you look at that, this is the second death, because to be cast away from God is death. However way you want to look at it. And so,
Well, if they don't believe there's a heaven, if they don't believe there's an angel, what
no, they believe there's a heaven.
All of us, they do believe there's a heaven.
No, they believe there's a heaven. What is it?
I heard him say that a while ago.
Said I can't hear.
That's what I always like to think of, saved, I was saved when I was, 15 years old, and I hate to think that I didn't come close to the Lord as I am right now, before I went to heaven, where my seat would be. I don't even think it would be where it's going to be now. I'd be at the nosebleed section, I'm trying to get down there on the field. They follow us. Yeah, you got 50-yard line seats, you got referees, you got players. So you can get there, you can get any time. Just depends on your.
We'll bring out and finish up the study on Revelation. Okay, we'll go over this next week. I know what we'll do. All right. But anyway, basically, if you look at it, and this is not just coming from this teaching; it's different things. But if you talk to the lady that was here, Mike knows this is exactly what they believe. Because she told us. She said right there and said, because I asked her, I said, what do you? So I said, what do y'all been taught? What do you believe? She said, if you go down there to talk about total annihilation, okay, they don't believe in it. Life's over here. You die. Just go back to dust. That's it. That's what they believe. And they take that out when they're out soul and witnessing. They take that out of the book of Lamentations.
Do they believe in laying on the hands on for prayer or stuff like that?
I don't think so.
Well, I know one time we were all building, a couple of witnesses came by, he said, first thing I want to do is lay hands on the pray for you, they turn and run. Right away.
I witnessed to Jehovah's Witness in Texas County, Arkansas, when we was on that one. They didn't tell me there was Jehovah's Witnesses until I got done. And, I wish I knew what I do now, I could to start all over. But I didn't know there was a difference, you know, I just knew that they was the ones that wrote bicycle.
That's enormous.
Oh.
Yeah.
Still,
Partial blacks. You get confused with them.
White shirt looks like that.
You get confused with them.
Jesus Christ, a lot of those things.
Yeah.
But this is the final judgment in Revelation chapter 20, okay? There. And that's what they believe. The truth concerning hell, the rejection of a literal hell is vague. And so they believe, you know, that God's other attributes of justice, righteousness, and anger. And so there's a whole bunch of things, you know, about a whole bunch of verses there about hell being literal, okay? The one we read in chapter 19, verse number 20. We didn't read it. It says, and the beast was taken, and with him was a false prophet. And you know, y'all understand this as we go through Revelation. There's a beast, and there's a false prophet. And so, all false religion that you're going to look at, you know, I just think about this as Catholicism only. This false prophet, it's false religion. You know, it mainly has to do with a lot of the Muslims rising up today. You know, what they believe. Because it goes on talking, it talks in verse 20 of chapter number 19, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. Okay, so, I mean,
That is different than a lake and pit would be two different things.
do what?
A lake and pit, it says a lake fire and devil goes to a pit fire.
Bottom's pit.
Yeah, really.
Well, it's basically, same thing, but I mean, used different languages, however you want to include it there.
Where did that believe that slavery came back to that guy? Because Jesus said to the thief on the cross, today you will be with me in paradise. But then it says whenever he comes back, you know, and raptures out, that the dead in Christ are going to rise. So where did you go when you die? Between your death and the rapture, you know?
What do they believe, or what do we believe?
Well, what do we believe? I mean, what do you believe? I mean, because it says you're gonna, you know, those who sleep in Christ, but it says that.
Those are dead. In other words, if you pass away right now, if I was to die tomorrow, okay, my spirit would go to be with the Lord. Right.
So are you
To
reunited?
be absent from the body is to be present with the
Are
Lord.
you
Okay.
reunited with your body? Because it says that the dead shall
And
rise.
at the rapture, you will be reunited with your new body, with your heavenly body. Okay. Perfect body.
Okay, what about the sinners? Where they go when they die? Where we go?
Their soul goes to hell.
Instantly.
Yeah.
And then when the rapture happens, what happens to the physical body? It goes to hell with them?
To their physical body. No.
Their spirit never.
After millennial reign, what we just read, that's after all millennial reign, everybody pull back to the judgment seat, the white throne judgment. All the lost. The second judgment, and that'll be the second death.
Well, can anything happen that they can go in, to heaven? I mean,
Did they do anything?
I mean, why is it called a judgment if they're not gonna be able to, if things are not gonna change?
Well, why is it called a judgment? It says right here, we're not, understand this, we make the choice on the judgment, we're saved or lost.
Okay, but when a sinner dies, or when someone lost, perhaps we're all sinners, when someone lost dies, they go directly to hell, right?
Spirit.
Yeah, then why is there a second judgment? That's what I'm missing.
No, they're not judged at that point in time. They've already judged themselves. They don't get two judgments, they get one judgment. I don't know if I quite heard your question right, but the saved, when a saved person passes away, he goes straight to the judgment seat of Christ. Okay? So, I see portion, okay, that's your body, your earthen vessel that God's given you. But the real portion is inside that, the spirit, the soul. Okay? And that goes to be with the Lord. And that's a judgment seat of Christ. Your body goes to dust. At the rapture of the church, then when Christ raptures you out, then your soul and spirit will be reunited. Okay? With the perfect body to be, to both be with. Just like if you look at Jesus Christ in the grave, okay? When he come out of the grave, he was the first fruits of our resurrection. Exactly how Christ was raised from the dead, exactly how we will. A lot of people don't believe this, but the Bible, I think it's Ephesians chapter 4, that when he died, he was buried, his soul went to hell. He did everything for us. Some of you may not agree with that. If you go to Ephesians chapter 4, well, we're way off subject now. Y'all test me. Y'all are testing me hard. All right. I forgot what we was talking about now. Anyway, says children obey your parents, and Lord, I let them. No. I just messing.
What chapter?
Hold on, make sure I'm in the right book first. Give me a book first. All right, hold on. Heath, will you do me a favor while I'm doing this, brother? Look up there where it says about the 144,000 Jews, or what chapter is it? I think it's in Matthew, it's in Revelation.
Where it says like 12,000 back per tribe.
Yeah, 144,000, yeah. We're gonna try to finish this out. Okay.
Revelation 7:4.
They don't do all this back in Austin.
I'm just never start preaching now. It's easier, amen. Maybe y'all need to text me, what questions y'all got. I'll be prepared, all right?
I bet you preach next week.
I will.
Hey, brother, but I want you to look at all the learning going on in here.
Yeah, that's good. I love it.
These are really questions that you get from visitation, too.
Yeah.
Well, there, chapter, verse 15, chapter 20, it says, "And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire." Well, that's gotta be lost people. No?
Yeah.
Well, I thought you said it wouldn't be brought about again.
Okay. Here's what we gotta understand. Today's day and age, all right? This is the church age, all right? During the tribulation, there's gonna be thousands of people saved.
Amen.
Okay? Some are gonna die. Some are gonna live. During the millennial reign, 1,000 years, there's going to be people saved, still saved. We're still living in the grace age. And so when I said a while ago that this is just for the lost, I believe that they're gonna be judged. I mean, I don't believe that it's gonna be, it gets really, really deep as far as looking at that. But at some point in time, they're gonna be judged too. But I don't think, the church age is different, completely different from the tribulation age and the millennial reign. Okay, of the people that's gonna be saved. During the tribulation, there's gonna be 144,000 come back preaching, and that's where it's gonna go. It was just a while ago with Jehovah's Witnesses. They believe that's who they are. Okay, that's what they're working to be. That's what they're working to be. But I'll bring that out next Wednesday. Now I'll get more study on that. I'll bring it out where we can understand. But I don't know how to.
In a way, it kind of makes sense a little bit, because
It's very, very deep. It goes very deep. If you get to real deep with it,
well,
it
if you
blows your
look at
mind.
it says he saw Lazarus was in Abraham's bosom.
Yes.
And then the
What
rich
that-
man was in hell,
Right.
and he could see Lazarus in Abraham's bosom. So, I mean, if he died, he didn't have the chance to have the 144,000 come back and preach to him, but he lived closer to the Christ age. He lived closer to Christ being alive, and the people who are living whenever the 144,000 come back have to face a whole different set of issues. I mean, if you look at the timeline of it, it kind of makes sense.
Sorry, brother.
No, you're fine. I'm not frustrated with it. I'm just trying to, I know there's a lot of things in here that's kind of frustrating. But what Melissa's talking about, yes, that was before Christ came. Okay? Before he died on the cross. Okay? And what we read in Luke there, he says Abraham's bosom. Well, actually, those who were saved, yeah, they did go to hell, but they didn't go to literal hell. They went to a place called Abraham's bosom, which was paradise. Jesus died, which is the verses I'm looking for, is towards Ephesians chapter 4. That's where it's going to go.
Don't worry, Siri ain't gonna have church for us. I already know.
That was pretty far from the conversation. Got Siri on it now.
I don't want her opinion.
She don't understand anything.
No, she don't understand anything about God. Well,
You do know we love you.
yeah, I love this too.
Love to put you on the spot.
All right, Ephesians 4. If you'll go over there, verse number 7. Okay, we're going to start reading here. Talking about what Alyssa was talking about a while ago. What I just got through saying. We'll start from there, and then we'll try to move on over to finish this, and then we'll finish up that Revelation, all these questions next week's now. All right? That'll give me time to study back up on all that stuff. Read a little bit more. Because really, I don't know that anybody can really explain it to a point of understanding. Okay? There's a lot of things in the Bible you just have to trust God. You know, he said if all the books in the Bible were written that Jesus, the world wouldn't be built. That all the deeds he did and everything he said, the world wouldn't be whole. There's some things that, you know, it's hard to explain. But when you get, especially when you get in tribulation, millennial. But remember what was reading in Luke about Abraham's bosom, okay? So if you go to Ephesians, Paul's going to tell us here, he says, but unto every one of us given the grace according to the measure of the gift. Wherefore he saith, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive, okay? And gave gifts unto men. Okay, now he's talking about this is when Jesus went to the grave, okay? When he ascended. It says, now that he ascended, what is it but that he also descended? Does everybody understand that? He descended first into the lower parts of the earth. And he that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things. And he gave some apostles, and that's what he talks about some evangelists. But those verses 9 and 10, verses 8, 9, and 10, basically what he says is, it says him that descended. Okay, when he died on the cross, a lot of people don't believe this, but you know, he was our substitution for everything. He had to pay the price. He went to the cross for our sin. He died for us. He was resurrected, but he also, when his spirit went to hell, I mean, if a lost person goes, his spirit actually went and led to a literal hell when he died. Because all those way back then, from Adam all the way up to the death of Jesus Christ, were in Abraham's bosom. Everybody understand that? Which is a place called paradise. When Jesus died, he brought back the captive with him, okay, to go to heaven. If everybody understands that, okay, I know that's better.
Well, the thing about it is, I guess, on the good note, you get enough information to know where you want to go, not. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much cool. Even though you don't understand everything in the Bible, it's like Revelation. Daniel, which Daniel to me, Daniel and Revelation are almost the same, way. You've got enough information to you can understand Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior. On the way to heaven is through the Father.
Yeah.
When you understand all this we're talking about tonight is another thing. Just so you understand that part.
Yeah.
And let God take care of the rest of it.
And you know, and so many people were worried, I think, more about, do we get a second chance? Do we get a second chance? No. If the gospel's been preached to you, no. No. Whether it be now, or whether it be in the tribulation, or whether it be in the millennial reign, whatever. No. You know. You talk about the millennial reign, that's when we come back, what we read a while ago, Revelation, when we come back to reign with him, you know, I believe that's when, you know, that's when those who gave and sacrificed their life here on this earth for him, I believe we're going to serve under Jesus' reign. But right now, the Bible says God, that Satan is the God of this present world. Okay, we're living under evil rulers. I mean, what choice do we have right now to vote for president? I'm going to shut my mouth on that one. But anyway, really, but not evil. But you know what I mean. I mean, just there's a lot of stuff going on that, you know, you would never dreamed of, but during the millennial reign, we're going to be under Christ's reign. We're going to be the judges. We're going to be the presidents. Those that sacrificed here and you know, played along. Okay,
There's
so
still be people born in the right?
yeah,
It's just gonna be,
we keep on going.
but they won't be born in sin. Anyway,
That's right. The devil's will be put away, but they'll still have the option of free will. It's just you won't have, the way I understand it, the way I would, you know, figure in my mind, that they're still not going to have the presence of sin and temptation and things like that. It's heavy, you know.
But even then, a saved person will have to make a choice.
Yeah. I believe it's still going to be a grace age. I believe it's always been grace. You know, believe it or not.
well, Jesus, you almost can't imagine anybody not.
There's some writers and some people you read after that believe in the millennial reign, that changes. The dispensation goes from grace to works age. And I'm sorry, there's nobody who can work good enough to get to heaven. It's proven over and over again, you know. And so anyway, let's go over to page 2, because I'm not like it. talks about the 12 tribes here. But here's in a nutshell, talks about the 144,000. Here's what they basically believe. They believe that they're working to be, if they're good enough, they become gods. Okay, in other words, if they work hard enough here on earth, they become one of these 144,000. That's how they get to heaven. They inherit eternal life. And you know the Bible, in Revelation chapter 5, says 144,000 of the 12 tribes of Israel. And so, you know, this is where they get this at, and called resurrection, whatever, those who lived their life. And I believe that one woman we was talking about earlier, that she said, well, we just keep on living here till the end of the world or whatever, you know. But really, there's not going to be any end of the earth. The Bible says in 1 Peter that the earth will be burned up with fire, purged with fire. And so, and when it talks about the new heaven, the new Jerusalem, it talks about it coming down out of heaven. So, it's a whole different study. Sorry that I couldn't answer all your questions tonight, but I'll try to answer them next Wednesday, all right? We'll get a little bit more of that with Kenneth, okay, about the books, and we'll try to get more about the judgment seat.
I got a quick question. How come they don't have windows in their churches?
I ain't never been in one, brother, so I don't know. I got something you need to ask Sarah. Yeah. I'm gonna ask everybody that can, if y'all can meet right back here real quick, that can help with the fundraiser. Children's camp, not this Saturday, next Saturday. If you can help do anything at all, we can meet just for a minute. I've got to go out to the building, okay? Father in heaven, we just thank you tonight for the time we had. And Father, we just pray that we thank you for your word. And Father, just help us to better understand it. And the Holy Spirit has to teach us a lot of things in there, Lord, as we read and study. Just thankful that everyone was here tonight and here to your word. And just watch over us through the rest of this week. Just be with us. In your name we pray. Amen. How you doing, listen? Everybody's a little spunky tonight. That's what I hate.